This here is the A train, one of the lost lines in PTA. I say lost because the only way I can do this review in the first place is through drawing. But anyway, this is the 8. Now the 8 starts from Polo Ground Station with the 2. The 8 then splits from the 2 after 96th Street, meeting up with the 3 in the process. After a couple of stops, it actually makes its way onto Worth Street, meeting up with the 4. Then it runs the entire way down Worth Street to 27th Street, where the 8 meets the F in Double G. Do note that this version of the line is only partly on the 70s maps. I just wanted to give the 8 a longer way to go. The history trip is also going to be my own, being part of lore I gave to other lines, and because of that, this will also appear when I make a .text video on the 8 and others. At the end of its life, the 8 usually use R12s and R17s, and despite being a number routed to that point, the train still marked it as a shuttle. Further back, the 8 used low Vs, high Vs, and Mudsy cars. But with that out of the way, history trip. Now, way back before Caligon even became a thing, the Worth Street Elevated would be open for business in 1875, running a very similar route but only going from Worth Street on Newport Avenue to 27th Street. The L would get extended to the Polo Grounds in 1880. After being bought out by the ART, the Worth Street and Newport Avenue lines would gain track connections at Worth Street Station on June 9, 1904. The line will also gain a second connection to the Chambers Street lines on November 23rd that same year. 2 trains now run with the 8 for a short while. Now, for a good couple of decades, the 8 didn't really have much important events surrounding it. So how about I throw in a second line, absolutely for free? The 12. This is the 12, what I would call the 8's younger brother. The 12 started at Titania Avenue on Steinway Street. It then turned onto Shinonome Avenue, passing by Tenmarket Island in the process. The 12 then merged with the Union Line at Dukes Avenue, running with the 11 to Suffolk Avenue. But at this point, Suffolk Avenue was a loop station, so that means the 12 would go back up and end at Titania Avenue. The line would open as a spur of the Union Line on November 24, 1940. It was originally going to run via Varick and Steinway Streets, but that got stumped once the GG and F rolled in. The 12 used R12s and low Vs, just like the 8, but it also used R15s. Unlike the 8, the 12 was treated quite lesser than most lines. Like, I hope you noticed in the drawings of the 12, most of the stations look kind of worse for wear. They really didn't maintain it very well. Sad. Now, like in real life, the L's became something of a topic of criticism due to how they were made, causing them to be somewhat noisy, which is what I talked about in my 7 review. But these motherfuckers went hard on the 8 and 12. And in August 1970, the 12 would end service after a short 30 years. The Worth Street L would also be heavily downsized, now terminating at 88th Street. Demolition of both sections would be completed in 1972. And finally, as the final nail in the coffin on April 29, 1974, the Worth Street L will be closed entirely, meaning the 8 was officially retired. The rest of the L, except for the Polo Ground section because the 2 still uses it, will be completely demolished in 1975. Now the Worth Street L is mostly replaced by the K1 and C8 buses. You know, you really hate to see it. Seeing a line that you thought would be very cool to have around only to be known as a piece of history because motherfuckers completing a shitstorm. Hurts more because there's barely any pictures of the 8 and 12, which is why I have to draw all the fucking images myself so this review could be made. Which also means that some of the stations might not look so accurate to what they actually were like back then. The themes for the 8 and 12 are the Casinopolis themes for Sonic Adventure. Well, 2 of them to be specific, to give them some sort of old-timey feel, you know? But for now, a rating. And you know, I think these 2 stand on their own, and I think they should rest. So, I'll just let the music play out.